So it's time for me to watch another pile of garbage and say whether or not it deserved a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. And because I'm doing a Halloween special on my channel, we're going to do it on a horror film that has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yay. Does The Disappointments Room deserve a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes? The Rotten Tomatoes review synopsis for The Disappointments Room reads as follows. The Disappointments Room lives down to its title with a thrill-free thriller that presumably left its stars filled with regret and threatens to do the same for audiences. I have a whole page of notes right here, okay? I have a whole page of notes. I'm going to get through pretty much all of these. I'm going to try to. All right, here we go. Ready? This is just going to be a roast session of this movie because at first I thought it was a really stupid title before I watched the movie. Then after watching the movie, I was like, you know what? That title fits perfectly. What a disappointment. A family moves into a creepy house that's possessed and haunted like every other horror movie that it seems like comes out nowadays. And Kate Beckinsale's character starts to see all of these weird things happen. She discovers a disappointments room in her house, and they reveal a dark history of what this room was used for. Sounds like every other horror movie of the past 10 years. Gosh, why does horror keep doing this to us? All right, so the opening scene of this movie is complete garbage, okay? It's literally, let's set the tone of a horror movie by literally having this family drive cross country and they're singing on the top of their lungs, really bad, I should say. What's the point of this? What's the point of this opening scene? There's no tension built. There's no setup. It's just, let's just have Kate Beckinsale's husband in this film, who, by the way, is a horrible actor, and is a caricature throughout the entire film. And her son, who, kid actors, I get it, they're far in between, but oh my gosh, this kid is terrible at acting. This kid is really bad. Let's just have them singing this song, and let's just try to make people feel some sense of hope, some sense of unity with this family. That, by the way, when the movie continues to go on, you could give two craps about any of them. There is a moment in this movie when they pull up to their new house, which is like this giant mansion, and Kate Beckinsale and her husband, I don't care what the actor's name is because he's atrocious in this film, and everybody's bad in this movie, but they're arguing about pulling over and taking their time to get to this house. I'm just going to read it word for word. Argument about going to see where food comes from. Yeah, they took their kid to go see, like, vegetables being grown. This movie, by the way, is free on YouTube with ads. Just to let you know, that's how bad this movie is. But the sound is cut off for 2 seconds. For no reason. It's like dead silence. And I went back and tried double checking and even triple checking, and it's still there. So it's probably the fault of YouTube. Maybe not the movie. But those 2 seconds of dead silence was the only bit of freedom and joy that I felt throughout this entire viewing experience. Let's talk about sound in this movie, because sound is amazing in this film. By amazing, I mean it's horrendous. Do these people live in a vacuum where sound is the loudest thing possible? There is so much sound in this movie when it comes to water dripping from the ceiling. Inside, they have a leak in their house, this giant mansion. And Kate Beckinsale's character, by the way, is an architect, but who gives a crap? And they have this leak that is running down, and water is constantly dripping in this house, and it is insanely loud. Do you understand how sound effects work? I mean, that's not natural. That is not natural. If you hear dripping, it's supposed to be annoying because of the subtleness of it. But in this movie, no. There's no subtleness to it. It is just straight up annoying because it's freaking loud and it's obtrusive to everything else going on in the scene. That's not even the worst part of the movie, though. I mean, we're just getting started. Like I said, the acting is terrible. The kid is an awful actor. Terrible actor. I feel bad for him. And it's so bad that it's distracting. Well, even Kate Beckinsale, she is so flat. Her line delivery in this movie is atrocious. It's a joke. It almost felt like she was cashing in at this point, and she was almost playing a caricature of herself from other films where she's been decent in. The husband, you can tell that the guy who plays the husband is not American. His accent kept going in and out. And like I said, he's a caricature. I think they tried to put him in there for comic relief, and it does not work at all because I think his character is probably the most annoying out of every character in this film. And they're all annoying, but he takes the cake. There is some family drama within this film. Nothing works, though. Lucas Till's character gets introduced in this movie. He's a handyman. Now, Lucas Till is not a great actor. I'm going to sit there and kind of be blunt with you. He's not a very good actor. And in this movie, I think he gives the best performance. He kind of plays this like cocky, overconfident, sort of douchebaggy handyman who's like young and charming and handsome. And there's these moments where him and Kate Beckinsale's character, who, by the way, she's a giant jerk in this film. She is a jerk. Let me just put that out there. When you first get introduced to Lucas Till's character, she basically tells him, no, you're not working for us until I say so, and you need to get out of my house. I wear the pants, okay? Not you, not my husband, clearly because he's an idiot. She's just a jerk, just for the sake of being a jerk. And then there's like a little bit of this like flirtmance going on between Lucas Till's character and Kate Beckinsale's character. That goes absolutely nowhere, by the way. They flirt with one another constantly, but nothing happens. It's like a subplot that's just thrown away. Like, are they going to? Are they not going to? And then there's no conclusion to it. The plot conveniences of this movie are so apparent and in your face. They discover the disappointments room up in the attic, and it's a room that was not on the blueprints of the house when Kate Beckinsale and her husband got the blueprints. So like nobody knew that the room was there. And she's trying to figure out how to open this door. So then she finds this big pile of keys. Coincidence, right? She starts trying to use all these keys to open up the door. None of them works. And then you're like, okay, I guess that's kind of funny. It kind of makes fun of, those plot conveniences. No. It gets worse. She starts feeling up on the top of the door of the crevice. And boom! There's the key, just hanging out right there. Wow, could that be any more in your face? And there's so many examples of that. It's just lazy writing. It's lazy writing, lazy direction, and it felt almost like they're walking aimlessly through this movie just to try to get it over with. That's what it felt like. There was like no compassion behind this project, and everyone was there just to get a check. Oh, there's also these circular stairs within the house that the director just absolutely is in love with. It's like his fetish. He shows this spiral staircase, this circular staircase, in the same exact shot at least 5 times throughout the movie. And it's very apparent that this guy just absolutely loves this shot. He thinks it's like the most artistic thing ever. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not that artistic. We've seen it time and time again with other movies, and those movies are far better and have more symbolism to those shots than this pile of garbage. There is no suspense in this movie. I was wondering throughout the entire time, I was like, okay, when does the horror start? When does the thrilling start in this movie? All we got right now is very boring, terrible flat dialogue, a stupid narrative and a dumb premise that we see in every movie, and just an awful urge of confusion from either like a suspenseful side and even like a dramatic and like happy side because of the music choices. This movie's all over the place. It doesn't know what it wants to be. I don't even think it's really committed to the horror genre, and it's just ineffective. Like, there are flashback sequences in this movie that are so ineffective that made me care even less about the characters than I already did. And it was like the one thing that could have been decent in this film was that backstory, was that situation that these characters continually bring up about Kate Beckinsale's past and her problem after losing their daughter at such a young age. But the movie never goes that way. And it's almost like the movie just wants to continue to just suffer and suffer and suffer from all these weaknesses. And the one thing that could have been decent in a subplot, it's ineffective and it's awful. Terrible exposition dump. Kate Beckinsale meets this old lady who's telling her about the disappointments room and like the backstory behind what a disappointments room is. Essentially what a disappointments room is, these kids who are born with birth defects or deformities, and they are known as being disappointing. And so they stay up in this disappointments room, and the parents are the only ones who get to see them. There's just a giant filler of exposition. How do I know all this stuff? Because this lady just told everybody. If this movie couldn't get any worse, the only character I liked in this movie was an animal named Rascal. It was this cat who had been living there for a long time, and they stumble upon this cat and they decide to keep it for their young son, and Rascal dies. At that point I said, screw this movie. I hate you. I hate you, movie. No, you leave me with all these boring flat characters that act like caricatures and don't even really know what they're doing there. They're just like, whoa, I'm on a movie set. Whoa. There's a terrible montage sequence that makes absolutely zero sense, which is like most of this movie. It's like super rushed and it's like very quick. It's almost like, guys, this is what's happening. Sped up, like super fast. All these things are happening. You're just like, okay, what? Wait, what? Who? This person? Who's that? What's going on? And you're just like confused. Was that real or was that not? I don't know. That's the problem with this movie. This movie doesn't understand what real filmmaking is. It's almost like it was just like chopped together, just real lazily. It's like, we need to have a montage sequence. All cool movies have a montage sequence. And there you go. There's our crap montage sequence. That's just super sped up, makes zero sense, and makes the audience completely clueless to what's going on. Yeah, you want to hear something also dumb? The Disappointments Room leads Kate Beckinsale's character to see visions of the past. Not explained why, not explained how. Doesn't explain the paranormal aspect of what's happening. It's stupid. It's so lazy. It's so dumb. It's meshed together. It's just like, here you go. The audience will figure it out. Actually, to be honest with you, I think that this is a prequel to The Turning, because this movie reminds me so much of what The Turning was. Because guess what? At the end of this movie, yeah, we don't know if it's in her head or if it actually was real. There's a scene where she starts freaking out, and this judge, who was like the man of the house years ago, killed his daughter because she was a disappointment. I didn't tell you any of that because who the frick cares, because this movie sucks. And anyway, she sees him, he like returns back, and he's like, "You're a terrible mother. I'm gonna go kill your son now." And somehow a ghost dog pins Kate Beckinsale down. The judge walks into the room of the young boy, and then Kate Beckinsale kills him, the judge. Then you see the husband walk in, and Kate Beckinsale is going crazy, and she's just stabbing a pillow next to her son's bed, where her son is literally sleeping like 3 feet away, and she's stabbing the pillow. And guess what? The husband's just like, "Oh, what's going on with you? What's happening in your head? Nothing was there. You're fine." Not even upset at all. And then he basically just tells his kid at the end of the movie, he's like, "Yeah, I told him it was all a bad nightmare." And he stays with his wife. If I saw that, you bet I'd be out that door. Never coming back. Moving very far away. Do I want to keep going? This movie commits the biggest sin a movie could commit. This movie's boring. I've had such a hard time staying awake for this movie. I could care less. All these characters are unlikable from the start. It's so predictable. It's almost like someone just was like, "Hey, you know all those 100 other horror movies that have like the creepy houses and the parents, the family moves in and stuff, and they have like a young kid? Yeah, we should make one of those, but make it like insanely boring. Bring Kate Beckinsale in there, who's still insanely hot for her age. Make her completely flat. Let her just get a paycheck. Bring in this guy as her husband, who is just like such a caricature and just a joke in the movie. Lucas still needs to flirt with her a bit, but you know, nothing is explained there. We don't know what happens to his character. And then guess what? Let's do what they do in some of these other movies where it's all in her head and she's crazy. But guess what our twist is going to be? The husband stays with her. That's what it is. This movie's not thrilling. It's not scary. It sucks. It's boring. If I had to choose between Jaws the Revenge or this, I would choose Jaws the Revenge any day of the week. Because at least that movie is fun to laugh at. This movie is just a pain to watch. It's so boring. And I'm happy that I don't have to watch it anymore. Last little train of thought here. The poster in this movie. I'm going to show you what the poster looks like. Do you see that? You see that like Samara from The Ring figure in this poster? Where is that in this movie? This is never in the movie. The little girl in this movie doesn't even look like this. I'm done. I'm done with this pile of garbage. So does The Disappointments Room deserve to have a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes? What do you think? Obviously. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. Consider hitting the subscribe button to be a part of this community. We continue to make videos like this, and I torture myself for you guys because I love you guys. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.